guess what? I got a Discord server. Okay, so real quick summary. They have delayed the NDA drop for Ashes of Creation. Right. So by NDA drop, I mean the removal of the NDA for Alpha 1 testers. There is still testing going on, but the removal of the NDA has been removed, has been delayed. All right. So it reads, my friends, some recent development have caused me to reevaluate our upcoming test schedule and make some necessary adjustments. I will be moving the NDA release and the June 1st Alpha 1 start date to July. So they moved it back by a month. I know this is not ideal. Well, it is ideal because if they say they have to push it back because the game is not in a state where it can be shown, then yes, it is still ideal. Right? And you have no idea how much it pains me to disappoint our community. You don't disappoint, even. You don't disappoint. You don't have to be so emotional. Like, everybody knows this is active development. Everybody knows this stuff can happen. Even if you complain about the delay because you want to... like, the only people that show... like, okay, let me put it this way. The only people that bitch about the NDA not being dropped are content creators that want to bank on the Ashes of Creation hype, and they want to make content and, you know, use the game for their own personal needs. Right? I can say this because I'm pretty sure at this point I am a content creator. I'm a shitty content creator, neither less still content creator. So, the only people that bitch about the NDA being not released would be content creators that want to use Intrepid, use the Hype for Ashes to further their own views and ideas and all that stuff. So, but from a fan perspective, and that is the important thing, from a fan perspective, they can keep the NDA till release because people who have access to Alpha 1 can still test or play Alpha 1. They just cannot show anything about it, right? Okay. But it is my responsibility to make these difficult decisions in order to ensure the test is successful. Testing for the 14th of May will continue for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with an updated schedule being sent to the testers today. All right, so I'm gonna get an email today, and everybody else who has access to Alpha 1, you also gonna get an email. You're gonna get an email. I'm going to explain it in detail, the reason for this, and hope you will understand the need and agree with the benefits of this decision. All right. So, just to sum it up, May 14th to July 9th will be under NDA. Alpha 1 preview weekend, July 9th till July 11th, no NDA. So that will be where all the content creators are going to make videos and all that stuff. And then July 14th to August 13th, no NDA. Alright? I get that they pushed it back a little bit, just that they didn't. Yeah, I mean, they always do. Because they always do it on such short notice. You should have been used by it now. Allow me to first recap the primary purposes and goals of our Alpha 1 testing phase. Server development and performance testing. Stress test our server development and player concurrency numbers with high volumes of player activity and interaction. So just like testing, what a server does when large scale PvP, all that jazz. Stand up multiple world server deployments across different geographical regions. So they're gonna have servers in different regions in Europe, North America, Russia, and other places probably. Stoke test servers grid health over the continuous period of production use. that I'm not aware of. That I don't know what that means. I think they're just gonna keep the servers up and see how the servers do after a certain amount of time, probably. Evaluate current network architecture and identify non-performant code and areas for additional optimization of refactoring. So they're still working on the network and they're still improving on the network. And this is always really important for MMORPGs. Your network code is never finished. Always aim to improve. Test our build strategy and hotfix development procedures, account services, web-based systems, launchers, and patcher stability and cloud-based infrastructure. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Everything here from here, that all goes into testing. So it's fine. System functionalities and behavior testing in their core state. Node features in their core state. Wow, there's a lot of shit we have to cover. Excuse my language. No, don't excuse my language. If you're watching my channel, you're over 18 and you probably heard somebody say the F word. Okay. Experience collection. The ability for nodes to collect and store accrued experience from players in their zone of influence, and for this data to be persist in a global hierarchy of the node matrix. Okay, so what that means, we will be testing the node leveling system, right? Meaning, when a player does something in a zone, which node does get it? When the node levels up, how do the zone of interests, zone of influence change, and how does it correlate with what else is going on in the world, right? This is a little bit more complicated than other MMORPGs, because in other MMORPGs, like World of Warcraft, for example, if I level down in Silithus, nobody gives a shit about that. If I get XP down there, the only thing it counts towards is my own personal progress, and not any world progress. Some world progress depending on what you do. So in the case of Ashes, the way it works, or the way that I think it still works, is they have to have a system in place on the server that always records what other players do, right? What everybody does, and it has to calculate that and input it into the node system, and then the node system levels up, and then that changes. So it is a little bit more complex than what you would think it is. So yeah, I think the node system by far is one of the most complex systems in Ashes. So them taking their time to test that jazz is fine. It is fine at this point. Yeah, it is fine. Wait, is this? I don't know. It's not this. Okay. Propagation. The ability for nodes to advance in stages, reflecting the appropriate advancements in the following: culture, layout, quest hooks, spawners, crafting. Yeah. So the whole node leveling system. That's the whole thing. That's what is getting tested. So the whole leveling. The whole node system is like the primary purpose of the goals in Alpha 1 is to test the node system. So if they don't have the game in a stage where they can properly test it, I wouldn't show that to the public either, I'll be honest with you. Interesting propagation, blah blah blah. Player character systems in their core state. Experience collection, so XP collection, persistence. Hey Frege, how's it going, buddy? Experience death, the effects, corruption, flagging, inventory systems, blah 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 blah. So everything that has to do with players is also getting tested in Alpha 1. Okay. Ancillary systems in the core state. Caravan, drops, spawns, and reward table adoptions. Player trading, mount vehicle systems, raid, party functionality. Okay, so from what I'm getting right now, alright. All of this is so pretty much the core of Ashes, right? The core of Ashes, and that all has to be tested in Alpha 1. So if it's not at a state where they can test this properly, yeah, then the delay of the NDA is fine no matter what other people say. But it now makes even more sense for me for them to delay it. Okay, now we have to go. Fuck my life. Okay. The above is not comprehensive list of everything being tested in Alpha 1, but it hits the primary points, I figured. There are many other data metrics being collected for our approach to the content production pipeline system definitions and refactoring as well. Not to mention a blah blah. Steven, not everybody speaks English very well, and my English is slowly getting worse year by year. So use simple terms, Steven, for the future, Steven. If you're watching this, use simple terms, all right? Because I don't think this is even translated in other languages yet. This is a very fundamental test that will impact the direction of development post Alpha 1. So you can understand the importance of testing and its need for player participation, attention, and feedback. Okay, so if you, people have been testing, and even more people are testing now because they opened Alpha 1 packs. They opened Alpha 1 packs again. So everybody spend your money. Use my referral code. Because if you use my referral code, I make money. And then I can buy food. And feed my soon-to-be the house rabbit. I'm thinking about buying a rabbit. I don't want to buy a cat. I don't want to buy a dog. I just want to buy a rabbit. You can just sit in the corner. Do nothing. Over the last month, several new developments, both internally and externally, have led me to err on the side of caution and postpone the end release and Alpha 1 dates to July. If it had only been any of these issues, we would have powered through it. I mean, honestly, and this is my opinion, I know Intrepid Studio is really high on transparency. I don't know why am I singing today? What's wrong with me? I know Intrepid Studio is really high on transparency and they want everybody to be involved and all that stuff. They can be involved. You can still test. But in my opinion, they should. And I know people aren't going to agree with this, but honestly, like I said earlier, the only people that wouldn't agree with this are content creators that want to make content about Ashes and bank on the hype about Ashes. The only people, those are the only people. But for me personally, if I would be in Steven's shoes, I would keep the NDA till beta 2, close beta 2, or beta 2, like right before release. Maybe open it right before release. Until then, just pump out more content on YouTube. You know, do more Reddit AMAs, do more social media posts, short clips of characters just walking and 3D render models. Like, yeah, instead of, dropping the NDA. Anyways, let's continue. First with the in conclusion of seed systems and COMMENT backend revamp our intentional code log. Dates slipped a bit and ate into our Q&A and optimization timelines. While our feature timelines typically include a 30% padding to account for unknowns, I knew including these 4-hour testing would be cutting it close. I made the call to take the risk due to its benefits for the overall testing period. The siege system now being in place are still going through bug testing before they are ready for prime time. So the siege testing, so to explain this for you that might not know what they mean by for those of you that don't know what they mean by siege testing, right? Ashes of Creation back in the day had a testing system, let's call it system, which was also a full release game called Ashes of Creation Apocalypse. And Ashes of Creation Apocalypse was supposed to be separated in 3 modes, and those 3 modes were supposed to help with testing. So those modes were Battle Royale, Horde mode, and Siege mode. Ashes of Creation Apocalypse also helped a lot with the netcoding and other systems like loot drop systems, login systems, account systems, all that jazz, right? And anyways, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse never made it past the Battle Royale. Horde mode and Siege mode never saw the light of day, but Siege mode, compared to Horde mode, was close to being finished and released before they shut down Apocalypse due to the low player count, right? At least that's what I'm thinking, because let's be honest, nobody played Apocalypse in the last, 3 months when it was live. Only a handful of people. Warriors. Anyways, so they took what they did now. They took this almost finished Siege mode from Apocalypse, and they're gonna implement it into the Alpha 1, right? That way you will have active sieges in Ashes. Not the full siege system you're gonna have in the full game when it releases, but you're gonna have a core understanding, a core, like a first preview of what sieges will be in Ashes, right? Okay. Fixing before the blah. Okay. Second, right here, in case you want to read with me. Second, our timeline for the move back into the studio has been accelerated, and this would have put our move-in dates in the middle of the June test window. That would have been a difficult task to juggle for the team, yet we were prepared to do so and had plans in place for how to accomplish this. However, given the other factors of the delay equation, it made more sense to get the move out of the way first and allow our teams to be in the studio together during the testing period. Makes sense. If you do big tests, if you do big alpha tests or any sort of testing, you kind of want your devs to all be together and everybody monitor the situation equally. You know, you're gonna have one guy, you know, checking, you know, the net code on his monitors, and you're gonna have other developers behind him. They're gonna talk, brainstorm. Like we've seen pictures of Intrepid Studio doing that, doing like late night testing, and everybody's like gathered and they're spitballing ideas and trying to fix problems. So yeah, it makes sense for them to move into the studio before they do anything else. Finally, several new expansion launches for the other live games were announced that would have coincided with our testing. Okay, so yeah, so right here, this is really smart. What I don't know, what is coming out? Like, I don't know, New World. I don't know what is coming out, but you know, they're already trying to move out of the way of the other big launches of the year, which is a smart thing to do. We estimate roughly 200% of our current testing pool are active players across these titles combined. I mean, I guess it depends, because from what I understand, the core Ashes community, which is, you know, Checkmate, Imperium, Envious, Nexus, like all the big guilds and all the people that are most active on the Discord, they probably will play these games, but I think probably on their number one list is Ashes. So, but I don't know. Like, I don't know anybody in the community. It's like, I don't know how many freaking people have signed up. I don't know how many people have Alpha 1 access. So, anyways, this fact presents us with forcing our testers to choose between participation in our testing environment, which will be long and arduous, or playing an expansion with their friends and other popular titles. Makes sense, because honestly, and I'm sorry to say this, you can be the biggest fucking Ashes fan. You can be the White Knight of the White Knights, and you can buy everything that has to do with Ashes, and you can make your own merch, and you draw pictures of Steven on your wall because he's so adorable. But none of them are professional testers. So I'm pretty sure at this point, if they have the choose between playing a finished game or playing a testing environment, I think some of them will choose the finished game. So it makes the sense for Ashes to move out of that window and allow their community to play other games, and then when the testing happens, come back and help testing. As I outlined earlier, this testing period is an important one. It will require not only participation, but also the attention and feedback from both our testing audience and the broader Ashes creation community and general public. Okay, I'm gonna power through this now. Coupled with the above facts, media coverage and content creators would have been asked to cover either Ashes of Creation or the other live launches on June 1st. I mean, Steven, honestly, if you ask me, I cover Ashes above anything. The only reason, Ashes is my number one game. It's my main channel, so. While the primary purpose of this testing and the release is to collect data, gather feedback, and test systems, it's also an opportunity to grow our community, building on the already millions of people who are following our development and participating in the success of our project. So, with the above information, I've made the decision to I made the decision to position our Alpha 1 presentation and testing period into the month of July instead of June, so only delaying it by a month. If you are already a member of the Alpha 1 testing group, you will be testing on May 14th, but this testing will remain under NDA. Additionally, during the month of June, there will be a spot stress testing that you will have an opportunity to participate in. Also, given the delay in our testing schedule, I will be extending our refund policy from 30 days to 90 days going forward for all pre-orders. Ooh, so 30 days and okay, retroactive from May 5th, 2021. Out of respect to those who purchase anticipating the NDA release for this month. As usual, we continue showcasing in-game footage during our live stream this month and next. With the launch of our content creator program, this will also provide some additional time for those of you who are interested in creating content on Ash's creation to prepare. I'm pretty sure still at this point that I will not make the content creator program. I just don't see it. With the direction they're going with content creators, I just don't see myself fitting in there. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Would be a nice surprise. Again, announcing a delay is not the highlight of my week, but it is my responsibility to protect the project and position ourselves for success, which is the smart thing to do. While I will take this one to the chin for the next few weeks, if it means a better Alpha 1 presentation with more time for QA, a smoother studio move, and better participation and coverage overall for the test, then I think it's the right call. Hope you agree. Your faithful creative director, Steven Sharif. Alright. Okay. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Like honestly, what do you guys think? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Is it a stupid thing? I gotta tweet at Steven. Hey, Steven. Hey, friend. Just read a whole letter. Don't worry. Be happy. Delays are okay. Rather have the game in a good spot than in a bad one. Just take a breather. We are with you. Chin up. You do good work. Pineapple. Pizza is still the worst. Hold on. Pineapple pizza is still the worst. Hashtag. Love ya. Double point. Worst. Ashes of Creation. MMORPG. Hey friend, just read the whole letter. Don't worry, be happy. Delays are okay. Rather have the game in a good spot than in a bad one. Let's take a breather. We're with you, chin up. You do good work. Pineapple pizza is the worst. There you go. A good thing. We want something great, so we gonna wait. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're talking only like the only thing we're really talking about. I mean, the game is still getting tested, right? The game is the process of testing, the process of development is not being delayed. They're actively working on the project. Nothing changed. Nothing changed in that section. The only thing that changed is public access to the project. And honestly, if you disagree with his choice, then literally move on and go somewhere else. Because anybody that complains about this, in my opinion, is just, I don't know, it's just weird. Because you have to understand, this is not a AAA studio. This is not EA or Amazon or whatever. This is one person. A guy making his MMORPG, so he can do whatever the hell he wants, right? So let me ask, and I want to ask you this: if you were in Steven's shoes, and the game would not be in a place where you think it is good for the public to see it, because people at the core are toxic and just the worst, would you remove the NDA and let everybody make content about it? Here's something I learned being part of the Ashes community, being making content for Ashes for over 4 years now. This is the best thing you can do. Be excited when they give you dates. Don't believe the dates are set in stone. Active development it means anything can change. It's active development. I don't know. The studio can get hit by a meteor. You know, like it's not. They don't have the the capability of just moving the whole production to another studio or getting help from other studios, like, you know, EA does or Activision. You know, they have way more people under their belt, so they can have replacements if people come in. So they need to plan everything out really carefully, and they have to be 100% sure if they do that. So having them move the NDA back a month, me personally, not a big deal. Like I said earlier, for me it would be okay if they move the NDA, if they don't release the NDA till the game is close to release. And besides that, like I said, for me personally, it's not a big deal. So yeah, I don't know why. I mean, the way that I read the letter, I feel like Steven is really, really sad about it. I might be wrong. But he shouldn't worry about it. Like, honestly, anybody that complains about it, you don't have the right to complain about it, and you shouldn't complain about it. If you bought into Alpha 1, you still get to test. And the only thing, like I said, the only thing that changes is for content creators, you won't be able to make content as soon as you thought. You have to wait another month, which, you know, is for me personally, it's fine. Like, honestly, I don't see a big deal behind it. Like I said, I'm trying to read how other people react right now. All right. Okay, that's the delaying after they reopened a 1-pack. That looks a little bit silly, but they also offered 90 more days of you being able to refund, so you can refund, so that's not really an issue. Let me see how the rest of I want to see how the rest of the community reacts right now, so I'm going to the Discord. Just want to see how people react. I love how people make videos about ashes that are called before you buy. But anyways, guys, so yeah, so that was the thing. Yeah, that's what Steven released. Steven is actively writing on the Discord right now. So yeah, I mean, Ashes is still in a good state, right? If we're still not in Alpha 2 within 2 years, then we might be in a bad state. But right now, it's fine. Or what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's weird or bad? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I think we're in a good spot. Everything is A-okay. Right. So yeah, what are we doing now? Oh yeah, we're going back and we're gonna play some more Leon. I just wanted to cover this this letter real quick, right? And see what other people say, but it's pretty much what I expected. So we don't have to talk about it any further. Other people are streaming it right now. Yeah, I mean, it's a good spot, right? It's like, listen, if they come out actively and they tell us, I mean, he literally listed why they're delaying the game, right? He literally listed why they're delaying the game, which is fine, which is completely fine, right? The only, like Kush said, like the only thing that kind of sucks, but that's not really a thing, is the short notice. But I've been part of development cycles. I know how that whole process works. I know that if you're doing active development, things change. You know, issues come up. It's not a big deal. Yes, as a fan, it's frustrating. Let me go to the serious camera real quick for this one. As a fan, it's frustrating. I get that. I get it's frustrating. You want to play Ashes, you know, you want to get in there, and you still can. You can get into Ashes. If you are an Alpha 1 pack holder, you can go in, you go test, you do the whole testing, yeah. For content creators, literally, I've been doing content for Ashes for 4 years. So if you're saying that the only reason you cannot make content is because there's no game, then buddy, you're completely fucking wrong. If I can pull content out of thin air, everybody else can. So there's really no bad thing about this. Like I said, the only bad thing that I can think of is, yes, content creators won't be able to make content for another month. That's like the only bad thing that I can right now, that I can think of. Right? So I think it's actually, I actually like that they are delaying it. I do like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the slightest now that this is a bad thing. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'm used to the delays, and it's not a big deal for me anymore. I mean, he listed everything that's being tested, everything they want to test in the Alpha 1, and if it's not there, if it's not ready, then it's not ready. It's not like you take a race car out to the track to test drive it without a motor, or with a tire still missing, or without a steering wheel, right? You test it when it's ready to be tested. And if the game is not ready to be tested at the moment, it is not ready. But it is ready. It is ready. It is getting tested. And because it's getting tested, new issues come up. And if those new issues come up now, then rather before the end, like rather than when the NDA would have been released, that is better. Because every bug, every issue, every mistake that is getting tested, found, reported, and fixed before the NDA is released is an extra HP point for Ashes. Because trust me, as soon as Ashes drops the NDA, it's gonna get hurt. People are gonna be like, oh my god, they're gonna say a lot of crap. So the more the HP you have, the more polished, I don't want to say polished, but if you, let's just say polished. The more polished your Alpha 1 is, the better it will be for the public. That is my whole take on the whole thing. If you agree with it, you do. If not, I don't care, because it's my opinion. But from what I am reading right now, the majority of the community, I'm going through the Discord right now, I'm looking through the Discord. The majority of the community agrees with everything Steven said and doesn't have a problem with it. Like, again, you should not have a problem with this. And you have a bunch of idiots. You always have a bunch of idiots on the Discord saying dumb shit, but you know, that's what happens when you let them in, Steven. But anyways, guys, so yeah, that's my whole take on the letter. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and because I put it on YouTube, I have to do the thing at the end. I do apologize, but if you like this, make sure to subscribe, press that bell button, and I will see you on the next one. Peace. Okay.